Make sure we live. I see the people in the chat. I don't know why this thing be doing it on my end. All right. It's still saying waiting for the Mossi Warrior Clan. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna get started.
Nah, they in the chat talking.
I can't even. I don't know why my thing be doing that now. It be showing. Okay.
Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna get started. How would you quit looking at the chat, man?
I ain't finna look at it no more. But ETM Hotel. Dua Aku. Dua Netcha. Rini Kofi Piesie. Egun Mojude Ibai, Egungun Kiki, Egungun Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Iwa Pele. Let me share my screen. Oh, and I always have to give honor and praises to the ancestors and everything that I do. Because again, without the ancestors, we literally wouldn't be here. Y'all please share the show. My screen showing, seeing Sean?
Yeah.
He called for the unity and the redemption of the African world. Salute the father of our. We are not ready to listen again. They might not have been ready then. As wonder whether we are ready. Ain't no doubt about it. To listen. You ready, baby? No. Let's go. Yeah. Flag fly high, flag fly high, flag fly high. Black kids in the sky, with the fly, the flag fly high. Come on. Flag fly high, flag fly high, flag fly high. All these G's on the rise, all eyes to recognize the flag fly high. Hold it high, let it fly. Circle colors forever, mommy will never die. Overnight, it's grown ready, let's take a ride. Fast walk, big knees up, to the side. We're all bad for the warriors. So travel, get chill, bad glorious. Black power represents us. Do we go over for Africa or against us? Flag fly high, flag fly high, flag fly high. Black kids in the sky, with the fly, the flag fly high. Flag fly high, flag fly high, flag fly high. All these G's on the rise, all eyes to recognize the flag fly high. Get ready for the blood. I got the best stop, the rest got good. The black is for the God, melanated and elevated, holding the main charge. The green is for the cradle. Africa, everything first to unstable. The secular shit, put it together as a symbol of liberation. That's how we get the planets on these trees. Flag fly high, flag fly high, flag fly high. Black kids in the sky, with the fly, the flag fly high. Come on. Flag fly high, flag fly high, flag fly high. All these G's on the rise, all eyes to recognize the flag fly high. It's flying 1999, people on the no time. I was there for my design, we both ready. Hard line, ain't no game for that red flag. Two things that black bang, revolution in my veins. If we free, I won't change. And you can count on that like an altitude. Celebrate the victories and the challenges. This season is social media and statuses. This lifestyle for they can build and practice. Yeah. Flag fly high, flag fly high, flag fly high. Black kids in the sky, with the fly, the flag fly high. Flag fly high, flag fly high, flag fly high. All these G's on the rise, all eyes to recognize the flag fly high. Red, black, green. All big chill about that red, black, green. That all big chill about that red, that black.
All right. Again, I want to apologize for starting late. We was trying to let the other show get through over there, but I got too much to do today, so we went on and started. I couldn't wait for the show to get through. But appreciate everybody for tuning in. Peace to Craig Scrounge, if you still in the building. Peace, Elisa. Peace to my good brother Vasa. Peace. Overstanding Daily TV. Ibibo, if I'm saying his name right. Peace to you, brother. I've been seeing your comments a lot. I'm finna start back commenting on some of those things. Uh, but let's go and get into it. Sean, you got something to say before I get started, man?
Black African power. A well-organized lie defeats a disorganized truth every time. Ooh, we. Let's get into the Chewa people, man. Let's see what the Chewa talking about.
Yeah, okay. So today's presentation is the Chewa People Secret Society of the Nyau Dancer. So I'm gonna walk you through in depth of the secret society of these Chewa people. All right, one more lit music thing. You know we always got to get it started. We are at war with our culture. We at war with our traditions. We at war with our heritage. We at war with everything. So let's go to war. Let's go to war. All right, I already put a disclaimer out here before I get started. I am not a teacher, but merely a student sharing information, and that information provided is for the educational purpose only. And if you are in doubt, do the research and have it verified by someone qualified. I reserve the right to change the focus of this presentation to shut down, sell, or exchange the terms of the use at my own discretion. All trademark, design rights, copyrights, registered names, mottos, logos, avatars, the signals, and marks used or cited, by this website or the property of their respective owners. I reserve the right to add information as it comes available or adapt changes, approve information as it comes available in the future. Inputs wanted, changes, additions, or changes, additions are encouraged. This is my saying. As I learn, we all learn. First, I'm gonna walk you through a little small video of the Nyau/Gule Wamkulu, which is the system of the Chewa people. Also, it is the secret society name, the Nyau or the Gulu Wamkulu, which is interchangeable with Gulu Wamkulu. Where we'll get into what that means in a little bit. This ain't but a few minutes. Hope y'all can hear it and see it.
Gule Wamkulu was a secret cult involving a ritual dance practiced among the Chewa in Malawi, Zambia, and Mozambique. It was performed by members of the Nyau Brotherhood, a secret society of initiated men. Within the Chewa's traditional matrilineal society, where married men played a rather marginal role, the Nyau offered a means to establish a counterweight and promote solidarity among men from various villages. Nyau members are still responsible for the initiation of young men into adulthood, and for the performance of the Gule Wamkulu at the end of the initiation procedure, celebrating the young men's integration into adult society. Gule Wamkulu dates back to the great Chewa Empire of the 17th century. Despite the efforts of Christian missionaries to ban this practice, it managed to survive under British colonial rule by adopting some aspects of Christianity. As a consequence, Chewa men tend to be members of a Christian church as well as a Nyau society. Gule Wamkulu is performed in the season following the July harvest, but it can also be seen at weddings, funerals, and the inauguration or death of a chief. On these occasions, the Nyau dancers wear costumes and masks made of wood and straw, representing a great variety of characters, such as wild animals, spirits of the dead, and slave traders, as well as more recent figures such as the Honda or the helicopter. Each of these figures plays a particular, often evil character, representing a form of misbehavior, teaching the audience moral and social values. These figures perform dances with extraordinary energy, entertaining and scaring the audience as representatives of the world of the spirits and the dead.
All right. Historical background of the Chewa people. The Nyau means mask or initiation. It is a secret society of the Chewa. The Chewa people migrated into Malawi from Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of the Congo, in the 16th century. Some scholars have traced the Chewa history to the Sudan, while others assert that the Chewa people originated from Egypt. So a lot of the scholars and some of the information that I have researched say that the Chewa people, which they got their name after they started to migrate into the Democratic of the Congo, which is Central Africa. They was once in Egypt, then they migrated into the Sudan, and then from the Sudan they migrated into um, uh, Central Africa, and then once they left Central Africa, well, once they started to go into Central Africa, they developed the name Chewy, and we'll get into what the word Chewy means. The label Chewy was, according to some accounts, one that acquires during the sojourn to Zambia before they pressed on and made their way to Malawi. According to Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Bandi, 1974 lecture, the first president of the Republic of the Malawi, the title Chewy derives from the word Shiva, a Siva, which applies to them in migrating groups of containing the meanings of foreigners. The migrating groups apparently adopted the nickname. Subsequently, phonological change results in the word Chewy, with the language becoming Chichewy. The Chewy believed that life existed within their ancestors and those not yet born, as well as the living. The Nyau believes including communication with those who are dead and their spirits, calling this the Pimfura Lalikulu, which means great prayers. Chewa believes in the presence of God in everyday life, and that God is both male in the sky and female in the earth. Word for God includes Chuuta, the great bow of the rainbow in the sky, and the Nalingo in the earth, like a womb where the seed germinates and his source of a new life. The spirit world symbolizes, it represents as the Gulu Wamkulu, which means big dance, or it also means great dance, which Nyau and Gulu Wamkulu is interchangeable. You can call that secret society Gulu Wamkulu, or you can call that secret society Nyau, which incorporates Mwambu traditions, mass, song, dance, and rules. Nyau incorporated sophisticated reverence roles, playing, proverbs, mimicking, and satires, and performing. Primarily, the Nyau performs their mask dance at funerals, memorial service, and initiations for girls, which is the Chinauli. The Chewa, a Bantu people of Central and Southern Africa, are renowned for their lively mask dance and their Niles, a secret society of spiritual people that forms an important part of their cosmology and their religious beliefs. The Chewa people believe that the existence within their ancestors and those not yet born, as well as the as the living. Oh, okay, it is understood that the Nile communicates with the spirits of those of the dead, and the Chio all calls them the Perfafa Liluku, which is great spirit. According to the Chio mythology, God, which is Chio, which you can spell it Chauta or Chi Utu, comes down from the earth with man, and we're going to tell you two of the stories that connects them, why they say that life exists within their ancestors and with those that are not living. They base their life around communicating with the ancestors. So this secret society is based on communicating with the ancestors. And we're going to understand why this society was based around the ancestors. It has to do with their cosmology story that was created by the Chio. According to the Chio mythology, the god Chio came down from earth with a man, a woman, and an animal, all of whom lived together in happiness. That until the man discovered how he created fire, all of the animals except the people, livestock, and pet ran away from man and great fire. So now through the cosmology story, something's going to take place of them finding out or creating fire. So let's get more into the cosmology. The Nyau mass is Gule Wamkulu rites celebration elements. Oh man. And I hold on, y'all, because I supposed to went back and added that side. And give me a second. Okay. And I didn't add the slide in there, or I deleted the slide out of there, but I wanted to go further into the cosmology. And the cosmology basically is that the Chio, he came down. He came down and came down with a man and animal, because you will see that they're going to incorporate in their ceremonies that they do, the certain masses that they are made out of human figures, made out of the colonizers, where they tease the colonizer, and animals. And a lot of it has to do with the cosmology of Chiu coming down with the first human being and an animal, and them basically finding or creating fire, and then from fire they created chaos. And after creating chaos with fire, because they misused fire, so it started. So after this chaos, Chiu left the human race and went back. This is according to their cosmology. Left and went back into the ancestral world, the heavens, and the only way that those people was able to communicate, which you see this all through well, you see this a lot in some of the cosmologies, or even some of the spiritual systems, where the ancestors or the lesser deities become the mediator between the creator. So the creator left, and left because of the destruction that they did with fire. So now they have to communicate with the ancestors in order to reach the creator, or to be able to establish certain things in order to get back to the creator. The Nyau mass of the Gule Wamkulu rites and celebration reflects elements communal values of the Inwambu. By referring to the clan's tribal creation myth, this myth, briefly summarized, and it might be it here, harkens back to the primordial times when God split open, and I did this it, opened the sky, came down with the first human and animals, even though the animals were considered to be ancestors of the humans, to the top of the, and I'm not going to mispronounce, I don't even know what that word is, mountain, accompanied by pouring rain, all enjoying prosperity and peace until humans discovered fire. Some say sorcery, which when consequent misused, causing much destruction and fear. Aided by spider silking threads, God returned to the sky and aspirations and decreed that the humans must die. Only after death would he allow them to join him in the spiritual form. Separation from God eventually caused the rain to stop, the earth to dry up, the humans to regularly, seasonally beg a return of rain and the renewal of life. Since the time of the Nyau and the personified of the Chewa ancestors who lived in harmony with their gods and animals before the descendants discovered fire and disturbed the natural order of life. The Chewa also believed in the presence of God in everyday life and that God, both male and female, skies in the great rainbow, female like the womb, where seeds germinate in the source of new life. This spirit world is symbolic, representing of the Gulu Wamkulu dance. So when you see them dancing and putting on certain ceremonies that deals with the Gulu Wamkulu, it is symbolic or a representation of the spiritual world. The Nile dance themselves involve intricate footwork, flinging dust in the air, and the dancing responds to specific drum beats or songs, depending on the mass types and the character. Often also incorporated reverse role playing, proverbs, mimicking, satires, and performance. The Gulu Wamkulu is a generated name from the performance of a secret society where Valombo, singular, Chilombo, or Gulu, which means dance. It is generic name for all of the mass characters. The society is also referred to as the Nyau. Traditionally, the term Nyau refers to all basketing mass such as Nig, Umbo, the cow, and Ijovo, the elephant, or the Chilibu, Chilimwi, the antelope. In this case, the title Chilombo is regulated to other bipedal characters. In modern Malawi, the term Nyau or Gulu Wamkulu are used interchangeably. The Gulu Wamkulu festival takes place when there is less agricultural activities. In this group, the Chio are agricultures. So the villagers have acquainted times to prepare for the stages and performance. In addition, after harvest, the people have enough food for the festival. So the festivals are these certain types of ceremonies, which they deal with certain types of ceremonies, whether it's dealing with the rites of passage, whether it's dealing with the funeral rites, whether it's dealing with after they do ceremonies after the harvest, initiation ceremonies, and so forth. So all of these things take place or transpire after the harvest. In addition to after the harvest, the people have enough food for the festivals. Some of the harvest maize is used to brew beer for the participants, who invites guests and surrounding villages. The sales, their agriculture products also ensure that the village have enough money to sponsor the Nile activities. Some of the money is used to hire drums, buy additional clothes for mass, and give cash rewards. Kusupa, the Gulu Wamkulu dancers. The shoot, I don't went back. The Nile dance themselves involves intricate footwork, flinging dance in the air, and the dancers respond to a specific drum or song depending on the mass type and the character. So depending on the certain type of mask that this character, the certain type this person wears, is the certain type of character that they may put on. So they educate through these different ceremonies, and they do reverse roles. You know, they mimicking certain colonizers that may come in. So you'll see a lot of masses that may look, and we're gonna get into some of those things, the features and stuff for the mask. They may put on certain types of performance of informing the people of their past, their heritage, and different types of proverbs and so forth. The songs depend on the mass types of characters and also incorporated verse roles, playing, proverbs, and mimickings, and satires and performance. Now it talks about the intricate, well, the different types of dance with the footwear, the bouncing, the jumping, the flipping. So I wanted to illustrate a few of the Nile of the Gulu Wamkulu dancers. So you can see they are very acrobatic in their dancing. You can see the footwork here. The Nile cover himself within dust before a dance. He wears the mokute, a spiritual mask made from chicken feathers. And you'll see with a lot of their masks, they have all types of variety of masks, but you'll see a lot of the masses, and when they're doing certain types of ceremony, you'll see them with masses that's covered in a lot of feathers. And before they actually start to participate in the ceremony with their different triggered dances and mimickings and playing roles, they always cover themselves in the dust before performing. So I just want to illustrate another picture here that I thought was pretty dope of one of the Nyos uh, covering himself in dance before he participate in a dance ceremony. And you can see here again the makuta, those masks that is covered in a lot of feathers. Here is another picture here. You can see a lot of those masses are covered in feathers, and they're playing or covering themselves in dust before participating in the dance ceremony. Each dancer represents a special character related to the mask or animal structures he wears. The Zilimbo, wild animals, are large constructed that cover the entire body, mostly representing animals. And I'll show you a picture. They have an entire mask or a body mask. It does not just cover the top of the head where you see most masks where it covers the top of the head, or it covers the entire face to the neck. They have masks that cover the entire body, and I'll show you a video of that and the body mask that they have, because again, that their rituals and their ceremonies again is tied into the cosmology. Because again, Chio, which was their deity, came down to earth with the first person and the first animal. So again, you will see the masses, you'll see the mask where they have animal mask, and you will see the human mask. These secrecies behind the Nyau incorporated coded language, riddles, metaphors, myths, and signings viewed with suspicions by outsiders. Nyau has been misunderstood and misrepresented by others, including the Christian church. Initiations of men into secret societies begin with residing in wood groves, a place that where the dead are buried. Cemeteries for weeks or much longer in the past, particularly in Zimbabwe. Nyau members that migrated from Malawi and are now part of the Shoni culture still practice Nyau rituals and hold Nyau religious belief. They perform dances in the suburbs of the Mavuko, high fields of the Tafara. They attempt to scare away people who wish to interview them, saying, Waku Tamba Numoto Uno Sova. You are now playing with fire. If you are now playing with fire, and you will get burned. So a lot of the initiates that take place, the initiates, it takes place like a lot of times you will see a lot of the initiates are separated from society. And me and Sean talks about this a lot because we talks about and we deal when we talks about the culture and the traditions. We always talk about initiations and how the men and the women are separated from the society. It's no different with this secret society here. The men, also the women, are separated from excuse me, are separated from society, which will be in these forest area. They go deep off into the woods. Now the Nile, they are separated too and go deep off in the woods, but they go into the cemeteries because again, there's cosmology and their way of life is based around communicating with the ancestors because of the cosmology story that was told that Chio came down with the first human and the first animal. And the Nile people found or created fire. And with fire, it disrupted the society because they misused fire. So it created chaos by them creating fire. So, and the rain began to stop as Chio said all humans must die because of the destruction that they created with the fire. So he removed himself and went back into the, per se, the ancestral world, or what they would call the heavens or so forth. And the only way that they was able to get back or unite with Chio was through through ancestor veneration, through communicating with the ancestors. So the Nile or the Wamkulu, Gulu Wamkulu, created this secret society where no one knows their identity, and where they're able to create and come up with these certain things where they're able to communicate so far per se with the ancestors. And here is a video where I talked about the body mask, And it's just, I think, 51 seconds or something, where I just wanted to show you the full body mass. Again, we have shown you where the masses come from the top of the head to the forehead, and then certain masses that cover the entire face to the neck. They create masses that covers the whole body. It is called the Casillo Malaru. And those body masses gonna always be animal style. The Chu Nile Society initiate wearing feather headdress. So again, you'll see a lot of those masks where the mask is covered in entire feathers. So this here you can see is certain type of mask that is made for the initiate. I talked about the initiate on a slide, and they are separated from society where they go into this forest. Also, they go into the cemetery where they are in the cemetery where they're being initiated and going through certain things and learning certain things up to months at a time. In Zambia village, boys may participate in groups called the Kalumbo, who join a group from as young as 5 or 6. However, they must pay a joining fee offered around 2 kawuchos, in which they raise by hunting and selling birds, or the fees is paid by the parents. Upon joining, the novices are often beaten with branches before learning the discipline. The minimum age of boys or girls joining the Nyau itself is usually around 10 years of age. So you can join this secret society um, once you become 10 years or older. But they have lit small branches off that you can participate in until you get a certain age around 5. It's called Lumbu. All right. And the initiate ceremonies and new members of the Nile usually begins with the initiated living in the cemetery for up to a week, or place that superstition villagers are fearful to come even during the daytime. And they exclude themselves and go into the cemetery because, again, this superstition, people are scared to go into that place. So they know that certain people are not going to come in when they're doing certain things of initiating these certain people into this secret society, and trying to keep these people identity covered because no one knows who these people are. The Gulu Wamkulu, or big dance. Again, Gulu Wamkulu means big dance, or it means great dance. And Gulu can also mean dance, but Gulu Wamkulu and Nyau again is interchangeable. You can call the secret society Nyau, or you can call the secret society the Gulu Wamkulu, but it's also centered around what they call the great dance or the big dance as well. It is the big dance is best known as dance of the Nile. It is also known as the Pimfora Latu Lalikulu La Mizimu, and I may be a great prayer or ancestors, or Gulu La Ani Wal Iri, dance of the ancestors. Prior to the Gulu Wamkulu dance, Nile dancers observe a series of secret rituals which are associated with their society, a secret brotherhood. The dance is mainly performed at funerals, memorial services, but also at initiates and other celebrations. The masks worn by the dancers of such performance are in the forms of animals or beasts, such as antelopes, believed to capture the soul of the spirit of the deceased that brings renewed life. The purpose of the dance is said to be a way of communication messages of the ancestors to the villagers and mark possible continuous harvest and continuing life. Nyau is protection against evil and expression of religious belief that permeates society. According to the Chewa oral tradition, Gule Wamkulu was initially performed by women in the relations to girl initiations into the womanhood, and they're incorporated into the adult society. Later on, the Gule Wamkulu changed its scope and objective. It is now played as a major role in both male and female initiate. So it started out in the beginning just dealing with the women, and then later on the men, and it became an initiate. You became initiated for the men and the women. In strict modern Gulu Wamkulu societies, all of the characters are male. They sometimes depict female behavior by merely dressing like women. However, the moderate Gulu Wamkulu society performers may include both women and men. Believed to be the presence of the dead and direct encounters with the spirit world, the Nyau are associated with fear and ritual dreads. The particular villages fear that the Nyau Campini or the dangerous Nyau. The Chewa people believe that the Nyau Campini call can kill people and so will not even come close when they see him or in the road. During the ritual ceremony, the dancers and the villagers will even tie the dangerous type of Nyau and the belief he may incredible attack uninitiated people. So you have different branches within the Nyau or the Gulu Wamkulu. Again, this secret society, you can find this secret society in North Africa. You can find this not North Africa, but East, Central, and South Africa. Because again, the Chewa people are believed to come from Egypt and then migrated into the Sudan, well, you can say North Africa then, because they migrated into the Sudan, and then from the Sudan they migrated into Central Africa, which is what they call Zaire, which is now the Democratic Republic. And then from there they went into Malawi, which is Malawi, Zimbabwe, and a few other different places in South Africa. So this society is well known in those areas. So you have different types of branches. And this in here is the Nyau Campini, who are, through my research, are considered to be very dangerous. Here is one of the Nyau Campinis right here. Here is another picture. On the fly, it says that they are considered to be very dangerous. And during some of the ceremonies, they have to tie the Nyau Campinis up because they are known for attacking non-initiates during some of these ceremonies. So you can see the brother here that has the Nyau Campini tied up right here. Here's another picture of the Nyau Campini, which you can see he's playing with fire. And again, the early slides you've seen, when certain people, outsiders, will come in, they will say a certain things which was translated, you playing with fire. Because again, this is based around their cosmology of them finding fire and then misusing fire and causing chaos and destruction, where their creator begins to leave them and separate himself from them. And now they base their rituals, their practices around communicating with the ancestors in order to get back to Chewa, the creator. Villagers are also very afraid of the Nyau Akakaru, who walk almost naked with rags and masks covered their faces, and locals always try not to come face to face with them. So you can see these other guys here, which is another branch, the Nyau Karu, if I'm pronouncing it right. These guys with these bags or whatever this is, bag masks tied on their face, walking the streets. an important Nyau ritual, enduring the pain of whipping instead of ensuring that members will never reveal the secrets of an uninitiated people. So, using a complicated system based on secret passwords and signs that entire hidden from the uninitiated. The Nyau fiercely guard their identities and their traditions. On joining, novices are beaten or whipped with branches before learning the discipline and the practice that continues once you are part of the Nyau. And again, you can join this secret society at the age of 10 or older. The Nyau also holds a unique and powerful position within the local society. And some Chio villagers, members of the Nyau, can endure or even to kill a person without being prosecuted by the local authorities. In theory, anyone from the village community can pay a member of the Nyau to kill an enemy on their behalf, knowing that no one will search for the killer and that the Nyau real identity and their own are safe. These guys are some bad people and they keep their identity very concealed. People do not know who these individuals are or who belong to these secret societies. As a Mozambican policeman once said, how can you put an elephant or a snake in a jail? It is the same with the Nile. For the policeman and for any other Mozambican, a member of the Nile is almost like a bush creature. So I wanted to show or illustrate a picture of one of these Nyau or Gulu Wamkulu members in the forest. The Gulu Wamkulu organization settings. There were three settings of the Gulu Wamkulu organization: the Damwi, the Luundi, and the Bawalo. The Dambi is the permanent camp of the Gulu Wamkulu society. It is situated away from the village, often inside the graveyard. And that's where, again, where their initiation takes place in the graveyard. And a lot of those people fear the graveyard. And this is another reason why they particularly pick it, but also because, again, the society is based around communicating with the dead and are secluded places such as the forest. Once declared Damwi a place of safeguarded from ordinary people interference, the Chewa tradition respect graveyards and allow uncontrolled growth of natural trees and put bushes in the burial places. For one, for one reason, this is done to preserve trees that are left to dry and later used as firewood during the funerals when needed arise. The second reason is that the tree provides shade to grave diggers and mourners during burial ceremonies. The last reason is the tree and the bushes are believed to provide and resting place, the muthus, the shade for the ancestral spirit. This nature preservation practice provides a ready solution for the establishment and the protections of the Damwi. Following Following the functions of the Damwi acts as the boys' initiate camp. So this place is for the boys doing, or is designed as an initiation camp, where the initiates receive instructions about adult life. This process involves instructions on responsible behavior, respect for elders, hard work, and marriage life. So these are things that they also learn while they are being initiated into the Nile or the Gulu Wamkulu secret society. I forgot one man. Okay. An initiate, hold on. The elders' work and marriage life. To encourage many boys to admire initiate life experience and the Damwi are kept secret. Any initiate reveals Gulu Wamkulu's secrets is severely punished. The Damwi life encourages survival of the fittest, as members are trained to endure hardship, fighting, and other cruel things are coming among the Nile members. No one is allowed to stop a fight or report tough Damwi experiences to other members of the community. Instead, initiates are taught to disguise truth by reporting fantasies such as daily feast and the Damwi with a beef menu. In fact, the Kasu Malara, which is that what I showed you, that by that complete body mass, which will always be of some type of animal form, is referred to as meat or as the animal Nyami, which is initiates shared during these substance feasts. In addition, these damus act as a workshop for the constructions of the Gulu Wamkulu mask and the storage of the Nyau structure. Handy individual masks are kept in dancers' homes, especially in the boys' dwelling units, where traditional women are now allowed to enter. Since the Gulu Wamkulu characters are regarded as spirit, and invasions of the Damwi by both women and the initiate men would expose the Damwi secrets. Any kind of exposures of the Gulu Wamkulu secrets through both carelessness by members or invasions of the Damwi and the watching of the dance by the male non-members is termed Kufwale Gulu, is considered a very serious crime that attracts hefty fines, including death, and they take their secrecy very seriously. Hence, the place should always be secure. The Damwi also serves as a training camp for the Gulu Wamkulu dance. Is here where the members teach each other song, dance, steps, and drum patterns. The second Gulu Wamkulu performance settings is the Luunde. So now we're on the Luande. We went through the Damwi, so now we're on the Luande. It is a temporary camp or a resting place during each performance. So we talked about the place where the young initiates go to learn certain things respecting the elders, marriage, singing, dancing, drumming, going through certain types of hardships, fightings, and etc. So now this place here, this second camp, is a temporary camp, and basically it is for doing certain performance, but mostly resting. During each performance, the Nile leaves the Danwi and camp into the Luande, which is situated close to the dancing arena. When the dancing arena is close to the Damwi, there is usually no need of the Luandi. Allow the dancers to go to the Luandi in full regalia and use Luandi for the resting and the preparations for the Biwalo. The Biwalo is the dancing arena, which is the celebration large enough to hold a few dozen participants. And an arena is situated within the village close to away from the graveyard. Most Biwalos have a big tree nearby that provides shelter and the dignitaries during performance, where natural shade is not available. And a temporary VIP structure is constructed. The Biwalos are known and named after some distinguished tree. Our research found out that the villages of the Kiwi, of the Mipondo, of the Ti Kalumbu, and in Tichas, if I'm saying that right, their Bilawos are called Ki Mula, Ki Msike, after the Mula and the Msikiki tree that provides shade at their respective dance arena. Over time, these trees have become symbolic of the Biwalo. So you go through the Damwi, which is the place where the initiates go to train, to learn certain things. Then you go to the resting place, which is the forgot the name, the Wakulu, and then you go to the arena, the Biwalo. The common Gulu Wamkulu performance takes place during the Chewa annual Thanksgiving festival. These festivals usually run for 1 week or 2 Chewa communities. The organizations of the Gulu Wamkulu for public performings involves the executive, the performers, and the audience. The performers include both the dancers and the drummers, while the audience comprise females of any age. Boys are less than 10 years of initiate men. The executive comprised of villages heads is the Winminzi, which is the patron, the Wan Wakujuru, and the T Sabawu. and the Tisango Omo. And again, I may be pronouncing those names right, but those are the executives that actually put those festivals and things together. Once the initiate goes through his initiations, through the Damwi, once he goes to the resting place, which is the Wamkulu, and then he goes through um the shoot, I can't even think of the name. Yeah, the Bawalo, which is the arena. So now these ceremonies take place after the harvest. Hold on, y'all. Trying to find something real quick. All right. So here you have the Minwinzini. And again, we talked about the body, the full body mass, which representations of a certain animal. So you can see another full body mask that this character is wearing, and this guy, the Winzini, which is the person who actually give the okay for these festivals, the performance, setting the performance up, the locations, and etc. This is another thing, the Wakujuru, which is another individual who does certain thing surrounding around the festivals. And again, these body masks and these certain types of performance are taking place or dealing with certain types of folklores, mimicking certain types of animals and colonizers. The Wakujuru, which is another executive of the Gulu Wamkulu. Neo masks are constructed of wood and straw and divided into three types. The first is the feathered neck mask, and the second is the wooded mask, and the third is the large zoomorphic vascular structures that envelops the entire body of the dancers. Wearing latter, dancers tend to turn around and around in motions known as the Nyau Yulume. And you've seen that in that 51-second video that I showed uh, of this certain type. I think it might have been a giraffe or something. I can't remember what type of animal it was, this entire body mask where they do this certain type of in this certain type of ceremony where they turn around and around in a certain type of motion, which is called the Nio Yolambe. These are representations of a large variety of characters, including wild animals such as antelopes, lions, hyenas, with the names such as Biwindi, Chibino, and Wakini. The masked portraits of varieties of traits and types such as philanderers, helpless, epileptics, lust, greed, foolishness, vanity, infertility, sorcery, ambitions, and even helicopters. And these are things when these certain, I didn't put, they got over 400 some masks. I couldn't put 400 some masks of this secret society. And according to a certain type of mask that you wear, it's the certain type of characteristic that you will act out in these certain types of ceremonies. As a Nile member explained, the mask and performers represent all of humanity and all of the spirit world. There are a varieties of mask types, some of which includes the Bawini, Wokruri, Pa Ndenge, Pa Kalimoto, and excuse me if I'm mispronouncing the names wrong. Minister of the Plain in Plain. This is the mag shows how those who already had money and power in their lifetime will keep this even when they have passed in the ancestral world. And I'm just naming some of these masks because again, you got over 400 of these masks. So I'm naming some of the important masks and the roles that these masks takes once these individuals put these masks on. And through this secret society, once they put these masks on, they are no longer considered to be that person. They consider whatever this mask entails for it to be. The Chariwi Kamande, the one who came back from the grave, and is a character who misreads people and resembles an ancestor who hunts people in the dreams. And again, do certain things, these ceremonies, they mimic certain things, dreams, in order to get attention and offerings. Beer, meat, his dance, the Chawiri Kaminde chases people around, which underlines his evil character. The Kasinga or Kamicha Kamicha-cha is a messenger of important ancestors. How sometimes particularly plays some kind of moderator and tells which mass or animals is coming next to perform its dance. The Kondole, which originated as the Imsa Kambu, the mouse hunter, then changes into the To Indole, a man in a copper mining town, and then changes again into the Chizuno, someone afflicted with uh gono is I don't know gono that may be gonorrhea. I don't think that's what that said. It might be what that said. Con gono. It is an example of mass that has undergone transformation because of changing pressures and society influence. The Melia from Mary represents a kind of heart female ancestors. This dancer will sing and dance together with the people. Amphite, male, and I hate that word, wears a very, but this is what they describe it as, where a very nasty mask. It has, in general, a very demolicious and shaggy appearance. The outer shape resembles its evil character, since witches are believed to kill people with the jujus, and this is the outsiders um, with this. Simono from St. Peter's, and again, they was conquered. So a lot of it you hear here that the Malawi from Mary. So now they have, once you start to see where certain groups come in, where you see the Portuguese that may come in, you may see the Englishmen may come in, the Britishmen may come in, the Frenchmen may come in, where you see all these outsiders begin to come in and colonize this area and take this area over. And then they bring in their missionaries, and the missionary teaches and convert them over into their belief system. So a lot of, you will see in Africa, a lot of those people that has their indigenous systems before the foreigners come in, some of them completely denounce their indigenous systems and completely um, um, adapt to the outsider belief. And then you have some where you see a lot incorporate their indigenous system with the outsiders system and incorporate the two. So you can see here where they incorporated the two because they mentioned Mary in one of the ceremonies now. And then you see here with the Somono from the St. Peter, where a red mask resembling the Englishman with a sunburn. He also wears a suit made of rags. This character might be caricatures of the English colonizers, which you will see that in a lot of their performance, they're mimicking or making fun of the colonizers who may have come in. So you will see a lot of the mass facial features that look like Europeans um, um, with red face, animal structures. The Nyau members wearing animal structures resemble wild animals or Nyau za ku teacher, which appears at the time of death of the people, therefore feared. There is some kind of hierarchy between the different animals, with some very respected animals, and they incorporate these animal structures because, again, all of this secret society is based on the cosmology. And again, the cosmology is based around the creator coming with the first human being and the first animal. So that's why you will see that a lot of the representation of the mass is of humans, of the colonizers who they mimic and make fun of, and animals. Animals, and some very respected animals, such as the elephant, which they held in high regards, this elephant. And some less important, highly respected animals are also believed to resemble very important ancestors, such as a chief or a member of the Nyau cult. Most animal structures usually have a barrel-like shape with an entry hole at the bottom. Inside of the structure, bars are mounted to be able to carry the structure around. All structures completely cover the dancers, and the footprints are brushed away with branches by the Nyau members. And the following, some structures are explained in order of their importance. The Mjov, which is the elephant, which is one of the most important animals to them, is the most important figure of all. 4 Nyau dancers were needed to move this structure. And these animal structures, or these are the body masks. And these are the body masks that they make and these individuals put on to participate in these certain types of ceremonies, whether it be a initiate ceremony, where it be a rites of passage ceremony, whether it be a funeral ceremony, where it be a memorial ceremony. Resembles an important chief since the elephant is the most important animal to the Chewa because of its size. Therefore, their rare structure is only seen at the funeral for the chief. So this face body mask is worn during the funeral ceremonies. The Nidondo, the snake, is the second most important structure and is carried around by up to 12 men. It is also resemble an important ancestor and is often seen in the funeral from members of the Nyau. The M. Congo, the lion, resembles an evil spirit of an ancestor which attacks and even kills people. Therefore, some people run away as soon as they see the Mka go approaching the figure M. Congo, M. Kango, illustrated that the ancestors must not annoy just as a lion must not be annoyed, since it might attack people for their disrespect. The antelope forms and considered the most beautiful and widely known uh, as the Cassin Malaro. And again, I said a giraffe. Excuse me, it was an antelope, or that body mass that I showed you the 51-second video, to leave the funeral and burial behind. Standing 10 feet tall, they often covered in dry woven maize husk. These mass forms are first to appear in performance to remember the deceased, as a sign that the deceased have now joined the spirits and the ancestors. This is a time to remembrance of the celebration of life. The Nyau keeps both their rituals and their identity a close guarded secret. If an entire family is watching a Nyau dance, maybe the husband will leave for a bit, then go to the secret place to change, and the entire dance change and the entire dance. Later, he will return so his mother, sister, and wife won't know he is a member because they keep their identity sealed. No one knows who these Niles or these Gulu Wamkulu secret society people are. If a dancer falls down and injure himself and then limps, all members of the Nile will start to limp. So no one can identify the injured dancer, which is smart. So if I injured myself, if I was a part of this secret society and injured myself, and the people viewing this ceremony see me injured myself, and I'm trying to keep my identity under wraps, and later on I come out limping, somebody might put two and two together. So if someone hurts themselves, everybody illustrate themselves like they hurt themselves in that certain thing so it can throw people off. Your brother, your father, or even your husband could be a Nyau, or perhaps no one in your family would ever know. For the Nyau keeps their secrets carefully and just as they have for many hundreds of years. Here's another picture of the Nyau of the Gulu Wamkulu. Is another picture. These are just certain pictures, you know, in the different ceremonies, showing you the certain types of masks. Here is another one. This in here will be, you can see the features of a European or a colonizer. They are making fun of the colonizer with the red face or the sunburned face, if they will call it. Here was another picture because, and the drums is very important to those, though. They also have through the Nyau or the Gulu Wamkulu secret society have a branch which I may do sometime in the near future, where these people are also initiated and they are practice they do certain things to illustrate certain types of rhythm patterns, because these Nile dancers, they go off the certain types of rhythm and patterns of the drummers. So, and the drummers, you have 6 drummers, which 3 of the drummers do certain things, and the other 3 drummers are there for the backup and certain things. But these other three drummers are the most important roles to the ceremony. And again, maybe later on I might do something going into the drummers that's dealing with the Nyau or the Gulu Wamkulu society. But I wanted to base this presentation around the ceremonies and the certain types of dances that they do in order to, they say, in order to invoke the ancestors or communicate uh, with the ancestors. Here is another picture here, and it's a feature of another European with his sunburned face. Here's another picture right here with the mask, and you are all in a lot of it. You will see feathers. You know, most of them, a lot of them, the entire mask is covered with feathers. Like you'll see this picture here. This brother here has on a mask, and it is completely covered with feathers. Here's another picture of Nyau dancer or Gulu Wamkulu. Here's another of these. And again, you'll see a lot of the masks are covered with feathers. But again, you have over 400 some masks, and I didn't want to make this presentation be too long and go in depth. So I went through 6 or 7 other masks and the roles that the mask play, but each individual that wears the mask, I didn't want to go through. I wasn't finna go through no 400 masks, but a lot of the masks that they wear, again, is entire and covered in entire feathers. Here, thanks for watching the presentation. Hope you all enjoyed. I didn't want to make the presentation too long. Hope y'all enjoyed the presentation on the Nile or the Gulu Wamkulu. If anybody got any questions, feel free to ask. It's just one of my ends that there is a delay. It may be on your end, bro, Vasa. Wow. I'm looking through the chat real quick. Appreciate that. I don't know how to say this brother name. Is it Iron Lion Mike? Peace, brother Jehudi. Peace, EBBO. Okay, I got your name right now. I'm just looking through the chat to see if anybody got any questions. I didn't want his presentation to be too long because I was trying to do, well, I'm going to do another presentation later on. What part of Africa they come from? Brother Anthony Richard, they come from, you have a few scholars that say that they come from the Sudan. But the more I researched them, I started to see other scholars say that they come from Sudan, but they originally came from Egypt. But a lot of the research to tell you that these the Chewa people, they come from East. You can find this society in East Africa, Central Africa, and South Africa, and they say that they came from Egypt into the Sudan. They resided in the Sudan, and then they left the Sudan and went into Central Africa, Zaire, which is called the Democratic Republic. So they're there now. They're in Central Africa. So they come from East Africa. You can say North Africa, because if they came from Kemet or they came from Egypt, then Egypt would be considered North Africa. But most of the research I see, it says they come from East, Central, and South Africa. But they left Egypt, went into the Sudan, from the Sudan into the Congo in Central Africa, and then from there to Malawi, which is in East Africa. They went into Mozambique, and they went into what's the country with the Z? Zimbabwe. So you can find these people in Malawi, Zimbabwe, the Democratic of the Congo. You can find them in the Sudan and maybe in Egypt, but they come from Egypt, and that's what they say. But most of my research say they come from the Sudan, and then they went into Central Africa, and then from Central Africa into East Africa, and then from East Africa into South Africa. Hope that answered your question, Anthony Rich. Anybody else got any more questions? Are the fathers of the young members of the secret society and the only ones who knows? Yes, the fathers are the and even you have the Nyau or the Gulu Wamkulu also have um a um a society for the females, because again, one of the slides, the society started off as, and the ceremony started out with Pacific, the women, and then later on it became the women and the women and the men. So the women started out first, and then the men came later on. And again, yes, the men, you have a certain, once the child reaches 5 or 6, they go through, they are part of, they can be a part of this certain type of branch, but the father have to pay 2 Kosurus, if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know what the value of that is, but they have to pay. And this is like uh just dealing with um um dang, I'm trying to remember what it's called in an organization I've been a part of for 14 years. But it's like a youth program. It's like a youth training. It's like training and putting them in training and before they actually go through the initiation process. And then once they turn 10 years of age or become older, then they are able to go into these secret societies. And the fathers, and even on the women's side, again, no one knows the identity of these people. No one knows know the identity. Again, they stay off in a secluded area. People are scared of the cemetery, so a lot of the initiatory where they go through these things I told you about, the Damweed, which is the first process that they go through. It's like a training camp. So they go through this training camp called the Damweed, which is in the cemetery, and they are in there for uh weeks at a time, from 1 week to 4 weeks. And then they go through another process, which is the Wamkulu, which is a place where they still perform a little bit and dress out, but it is a resting place. Then they go through the Bamulu, which is the basic coming out thing, which is this stadium, what we would call a stadium, where everybody would be around and they would do certain things. But a lot of times they would perform at certain festivals, and these festivals would take place after the harvest, because of the Chewa people are agricultures. They are agriculture. They are known for their agriculture. So, and they wait till after the harvest because they can have enough food to provide for these festivals. But the Niles are also called for funerals. So they do funeral ceremonies. They also do memorial ceremonies. So they also do those ceremonies. And their belief system is also tied in the Nile, which is also called the Nile or the Gulu Wamkulu, because again, it is surrounded around their cosmology. And these secret societies are believed to communicate with the ancestors and communicate with the spirits, because Chiutu, which is their deity, who came down again with the first human being and the first animal, went upon this mountain, fertilized the land with rain. The Chill people created fire, and then they misused and abused the fire, which caused destruction. And their creator or deity got mad and separated himself. And the cosmology story say he went back into the ancestral realm and wanted humans. The only way that they will get back to Chiute is through death. And the only way they can communicate with Chiutu is through the spirits or through the ancestors. So these people created this secret society to communicate with the ancestors and the spirits on the behalf of the people, and through the masses, representations of humans and animals. Because again, the story is tied in the first animal. Chiotu created the first animal and the human being. Can you a video cover migration patterns of the Nile? That can you? I can't understand what you're saying, Anthony Richard. Can you a video cover my? Oh, you asking? Can I do a video covering the migration patterns out of Nile Valley? If that's what you're asking me to do, brother, I can do it because I'm doing a presentation today on this evening on a presentation that somebody recommended in the chat, and I don't mind doing it if that's what you're asking me to do. Yes, that's how. Okay. Anybody got any question? But is that what you asking me to do, brother Anthony Richard? Bro, seeing you mean seeing okay. I could do something on that, man. I can do something on that, and I'll tag you. And I don't know if you my friend on Facebook or not, man. If you ain't, man, just look up my name, Kofi Piesie, man, and I'll tag you in the video when I do it. I don't know when I'm gonna do it now because I'm finna take a break after I do this next presentation tomorrow. So it'd be maybe a couple of weeks, but I'll definitely start working on it, and I'll come back and do that one because I got a ritual presentation I'm going to be working on the next couple of weeks too. Okay, Sean, you got anything, man? Before we get up off here. And peace, I am King Sosa. Peace, man. I'm gonna have to chop it up with you too, man. I hadn't talked to you, man, in a minute, but yeah, go back and look at it. I didn't want to make the show too long today because I had two shows to do today with me presenting, so I didn't want to, do a long drawn out presentation. Sean, you got something?
Nope. I mean, you're gonna work on that migrational pattern. You're gonna have to consider the Hermetic hypothesis, and then you're gonna have to get into every single cosmology, because the migrational patterns for people coming out of ancient Kemet are going to be thousands of years of migrational patterns, and it's going to be all kind of different influences from the becoming of the invaders and all that other stuff. Like, that's why I said what I said to Anthony, is that the information is already out on that, but you also will have to consider the Hermetic hypothesis, because you can't get around that. Not all migrational patterns stem from the Nile. You have people that left the Nile early that went into the other places, and then you have a migrational pattern out of that originally from the beginning of it all come out of the South Africa on up into the Nile and all them other places where they could build and live off of. That's why you have a lot of great civilizations that are near rivers, near rivers. I'm gonna stay like it. And now, so you have, if you look on a map of Africa, you can find a great civilization that once existed near those rivers. So, if you're gonna do that, man, good luck to you.
You said that's gonna be a lot of work. I mean, I'm very familiar with the Hermetic hypothesis. I actually got both because there are two, so I got both of them. I'm familiar with it. But what you're saying is that's gonna be a whole lot.
You have to consider the Hermetic hypothesis when you start getting into you're going to have to deal with every single piece of culture. So I mean, every tribe, you're going to have to see who all claim to be linked to Kemet.
Right.
And then you're going to have to go into the cosmologies and see if that's what their cosmology states.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Then you got to tie all of that back into that. And then you got to go and match that up with the Hermetic hypothesis and see how many people actually came from that particular region and when, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Or are these people that migrate, are these people whose people migrated out of Kemet, and then, you know what I'm saying? And then something else happened. They became a different people once they left. Or however you put it, it gets long-winded.
Yeah.
So it's easier to look at a map and then try to, you know, and then do it that way and try to dial into the cosmology that way, or the migrational pattern.
Well, I attempt to try to do it. If it becomes a headache, Anthony, I'll let you know.
No, you told him, man, you gonna do
it. Yeah, but man, that's gonna tie me up. I ain't trying to be. I'm gonna try to do it. I'm gonna attempt to try to do it.
You can't even get like scholars who have actually, who's actually been focusing on particular areas in Africa. You can't even get them to do that.
Right.
But we'll have books. You know, we'll have volumes of books dealing with migrational patterns outside of just what we have on the scientific migrational pattern for populating the world. You know, like the out of Africa theory. You will have instead of the out of Africa theory, then you got to have the out of the Nile Valley theory. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, hi,
Lots of time by Hill Help Research,
okay.
bro. You don't understand. You got to go through every state and then the tribes. Anthony, I haven't even seen a good book on that, bro. He says you could reference me a book. That's a task for people who actually can go in and scientifically investigate this through certain models and then gather all the primary information. It's easier for us to deal with certain people in West Africa who hold to coming out of Kemet because of the way the migrational pattern starts. And then we have evidence of certain things tying into trade and you know, certain type of linguistic aspects. So like a saw would do what you're asking Kofi to do linguistically, because it would be easier for him because all he got to do is look at the language. You see what I'm saying? So he starts looking, he don't care about the culture. He'll go in there and look at words to see if they have you know, words that could be rooted in ancient Kemet. And so his technical work, you see how long it take a saw. Think about this. Hold on. This is what he asked you to do. Jean-Claude Mboli. What did he do? He scratched the entire model and started all the way over and built a whole new linguistic tree. Basically, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah,
that's what you looking at doing, and it took him 10 years.
Yeah, I ain't got that time. I don't have. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you do. You just told Anthony.
No,
yeah, you do.
I didn't know it was gonna have all that type of work done to it. I mean, I'm gonna attempt to do something.
What he's asking for. Look at what he asked. Just look at his question. He says,
"Let me go back.
If you do that migrate, hold on.
I'm trying to find it. Here, I see. He says, "Can you?"
Can't microwave it, man.
No.
See, look, hold on. Here's more. Or he says, if you do that migration, it may be a good way to display the importance and roles of boats in the Nile culture. Now, Vasa, we know the importance of the boats, regardless of the migrational pattern. They wasn't traveling on boat when they migrated out of Kemet, by the way.
No, they didn't.
They put their foot to the ground.
Yep.
Hold on, let me read this if I can get to it. Can you do a video covering migration patterns out of Kemet? Now you could shorten it up. I'm just trying to help you figure out a way to do it while we're on a live stream.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm thinking now. I'm trying to think too, because I ain't trying to get.
You're gonna need scientific sources all the way through, because you're gonna have to look at different models. So I mean, you got the. Now I ain't talking about the Hermetic hypothesis thing. I'm talking about you're gonna need different models.
Yeah, I know
Like
what you're yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So I'm looking right now. I'm gonna do a quick research real quick. Oh no, migrational patterns. Let's see if I can get a journal.
Well, I'm gonna stop. You gonna share it?
No, I ain't sharing none with y'all.
Oh, okay.
I'm rocking. See, you're gonna have to get into genetics. You wanna do that? You're gonna have to show the genetic analysis of the Nile River Valley populations. You're gonna have to talk. I'm telling you what you gotta do.
Man,
Semantics. I think that I'm glad that he asked that question because a lot of people don't understand the type of work that goes into that.
Right. I didn't either. Me neither.
I know you didn't. It ain't gonna be no 5 or 6 articles. This month gonna be about 20 or 30. Because you're gonna have to do linguistics, you're gonna have to do DNA, you're gonna have to do archaeology, you're gonna have to do all those aspects in that. That's why I'm trying to get them to realize a C. So unless you made a primary focus on one thing, that's a
yeah. I don't know.
you want to write a book? That'd be good if you want to write a book. That'll take you a couple of years to get all your stuff in order to write a book on it.
No, I don't know. I'll take a look at it, man, and see like what's with all this. I know I'm not gonna have time to, really. And then I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I'm not no geneticist. I'm not no geneticist. I'm not no linguist. So,
yeah.
I will have to get some help.
Bantu. See, they talking about when you hear that Bantu speakers, then you're talking about linguistics. I mean, unless you you know what, Asar got some man, get one what is that? Illusion Volume 1? Illusion Volume 1. There go you a book, Anthony. You asked me to refer you to a book. Illusion Volume 1. Get that book. Also, Theophilo Banger. Get his book. But also UNESCO Volume 1. Research methodologies. No. Volume 2. Volume 2. Volume 2 is where they argue at the UNESCO symposium about the Remage being black and African in origin. And in that, you will find what you're looking for. Because that's ultimately what you're trying to get is an answer. I don't know what you're trying to get an answer for. I don't know if you trying to get an answer to argue something for a debate? Because we can cut to the chase right now. I'll wait till you answer. Anthony, if you're still watching, bro, are you this information? Are you asking for the information in regards to a debate topic or to prove something in particular to a person or a people?
He may be still on here.
Nah, we're gonna wait. He might be.
Yeah. But like I see,
it's a little delay.
Yeah,
I
see.
Man, you can end the show because I ain't got nothing else.
Yeah. Anybody got any more questions before we get up off of here? Cause I'm finna have to chill out for a minute. I'm if y'all not doing anything else, at 6. I was gonna do it at 6 p.m. I'm gonna wait till 6:30. 6:30, I'm gonna go live again, and I'm gonna do my do a presentation on Kofi Piesie TV on my platform at 6:30 p.m. I'll be doing some music and going over a lot of the music instruments.
Well, but if he wants something for argument's sake, then he needs to go and read UNESCO Volume 2. and he needs to read the entire body of work that Sheikh Antijok and Theophilo Banga put forth in their argument to prove of the Remich African in origin. They used all the information that was required for what you're trying to get Kofi to present on to do. So that work has already been done if you're using it for argument's sake. That's why I really don't, you know, when you make a suggestion about something, you know, give us an opportunity to know what's up so we can know, because some stuff may just be a waste of your time. You trying to, you know, you want us to present on something for argument's sake. That really ain't. I ain't gonna do that. Kofi might. I'm gonna
No,
keep it real.
I ain't gonna do that
What I'm
neither.
reading,
But
what
I,
I'm reading, what I'm trying to liberate and educate our people. So if it's for argument's sake, I'm sorry, man. We ain't doing that. But
yeah,
that work has been done. Like I said, UNESCO Volume 2, it'll give you migrational patterns. But we also will be revealing a lot of people who oral traditions may say they come from Kemet. You may see those come out, and the more we do these different tribes and introduce you to their culture and practices and stuff like that. So just stay tuned for that, man. Other than that, I appreciate everybody who tuned in and watched the show. I know the other show probably still going on anyway, and y'all didn't have to flick back and forth, but we appreciate it. But like the show, share the show, and that's all I got, man.
yeah, we finna jump up off here. But yeah, tune back in at 6:30. I said 6 p.m., but tune in 6:30 due to we getting started late. Was trying to wait to see what the show gonna end, but over there, and that's crazy if they still they do 8 hours over there. So, but tune back in at 6:30. I'll be doing a presentation, small presentation on again on the importance of music on the continent that we call Africa, and going over a lot of those music instruments. This was something someone in the chat asked one of us to do, so I threw something together a few weeks ago and been holding on to the presentation. So I'm gonna go and get off of it at 6:30 p.m. Gonna be a pretty interesting presentation, and I have a few little visuals to show y'all exactly what some of these instruments sound like. Cause some of these instruments you may not even think that it's an instrument. But that's all I got, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all taking out the time and y'all being scheduled to tune in with us for a little while. Boss, if you want to get on the platform, let me know at 6:30. Yeah, I'll be back at 6:30. And on that note, man, I want to say Shimim Hotep, um, Modupe, and Moribi. Get out of here.